Hi, you guys, it's Mrs. Leus. I am in your October grammar packet. Make sure you're on the right page. There should be a cute little picture of a cat in the top right-hand corner. Okay, we are working with commas today. Commas is definitely something we will continue to practice all year, but you want to be sure that you understand where we place a comma. If you place a comma in the right spot, it makes the sentence complete. If you miss a comma, then you create a run-on sentence and it's not grammatically correct. Let's remind ourselves where we place commas. Commas can be used in a series to separate a city and state or dates and to separate clauses. They can also be used to set off a word in a sentence. Yes, thank you for the cookies. So the comma separated the word yes from the rest of the sentence. It could be used to set off a tag question from the rest of the sentence. It's true, comma, isn't it? So the comma separates the question. Or just in a direct address. Is that you, comma, Jake? The address means that we're addressing the name of someone. So let's do some practice. On Halloween, we plan to walk around the neighborhood with our cousins. So we can separate clauses. When we say on Halloween, there's a clause here. When on Halloween, comma, we plan to walk around the neighborhood with our cousins. Number 2, no. So this is just like when we set off a word in a sentence. No, comma, I do not eat any candy that is not wrapped. I told my mom. So because this is a dialogue, we need to put a comma right here before we describe who said it. So no, comma, I do not eat any candy that is not wrapped, comma, I told my mom. Number 3, here's another set of dialogue, but notice that they have a punctuation already. So technically it ends. The weather won't be rainy on Halloween, will it? I asked my dad. So a comma doesn't need to go here because there's a question mark at the end. Back here, there wasn't any punctuation, so we put a comma. But because this ends, we still need to see if there was a phrase or clause in the dialogue. The weather won't be rainy on Halloween, comma, will it? Notice there's a pause there. The question part of the sentence is separated from the rest of the sentence. The weather won't be rainy on Halloween, comma, will it? And so we put a comma there. All right, I'll do one more example to help you get started. My best friend Sam lives in St. Louis, Missouri, and plans to dress up like a ninja. So my best friend, comma, Sam, comma, lives in St. Louis, comma, Missouri. So here we're separating a city and state, St. Louis, you can say St. Louis or St. Louis, Missouri. And then when we address someone, my best friend, comma, Sam, comma, lives in St. Louis, Missouri, and plans to dress up like a ninja. All right, so I want you to go through and place commas where they belong based on these directions. So if you're like, I'm confused, here's what you need to look for. Make sure you put a comma in a series. If 2 or 3 things are listed, there needs to be commas separating them. You always put a comma between a city and a state. You also will put commas when you're listing the date and when you separate clauses. You also put a comma to set off a word such as yes, comma, thank you for the cookie, or to set off a tag in a question. It's true, comma, isn't it? Or if you're addressing a name, is that you, comma, Jake? So knowing those, I want you to go try these out. Here's how we do the bottom part. It says make up your own sentence adding a comma for the following. Set off a word. So how do we set off a word? That's when we have set off a word like this. Yes, comma, thank you for the cookie. It's like you're answering someone's question. So if I said, yes, comma, I will meet you there. So it's like I'm addressing someone, but I'm telling them something. I am setting off my answer as yes or no, and then finishing the sentence. So I want you to try these ones. I'll do an example for each, and then I want you to come up with your own. Setting off a tag question. So this is when you ask a question, but then you tag it with a isn't it, or is that true, or will it? So let's do an example. It is not going to rain, comma, is it? So there we go. I set off a tag with a question at the end. So we needed a comma. And a direct address is when you're addressing someone like this. Is that you, comma, Jake? So I could say, did you make it on time, comma, Bella, question mark? So I'm addressing the person. I didn't just say, did you make it on time, question mark. I put the person's name because I'm addressing it to them. So I need to separate the name with a comma. And then in a series, that's when you list 3 things, at least 3 things or more. So if I said, I brought a shovel, towel, and sunscreen to the beach, period. So notice where my commas are. They're separating the list. It's a series. And a series is 3 or more. I have 3 things I'm listing: shovel, towel, and sunscreen. So there needs to be a comma after each one here before the conjunction and. I brought a shovel, comma, towel, comma, and sunscreen to the beach. Okay, you guys, those are your directions and examples for this page. I will talk to you later. Make sure you get all of them done.